Greetings, friend, and welcome to the Between the Covers podcast, where we are working every day to remove the self-limiting beliefs that are preventing us from becoming the heroes of our own stories. I am Marcus Spar, and today is another one of those days when I was going to sit down and record an episode here, and then the topic changed. This time, I'm not complaining about it, because I want to talk about sharing what excites you. Before this month's hero study, we were talking about just following your delight. What are the things that you just delight in? What are the things that just kind of light your world, bring some excitement and some joy? Now, I think it is important for us to talk about sharing these things, sharing these delights, sharing these excitements. And got some great examples. Just namely today, I pre-ordered the Phantasy Star tabletop role-playing game rulebook, and it's something that's just been in the works for a while now. Oh gosh, I don't even remember when I pre-ordered this. It may have even been like back in May or something like that. And it is getting ready to ship. And as a part of the pre-order, they sent the PDF versions of these books. And naturally, I'm going to go download them. While I'm kind of skimming through bit by bit, I am curious what kind of classes they have, what are the races, how did they combine these kind of disparate universes, so to speak. And I was very pleased and impressed with what I was seeing. I am super excited to be able to run my D&D group through this, and I don't even have the book yet. And right now, we are getting ready for session 1 of the Storm King's Thunder module that Ben's going to run us through. After that, Brandon is going to run us through one. And then I believe after that is going to be Katie. And then Dan's going to have at least a one-shot, or he wants to do a Spelljammer campaign that's going to be much more tied to like Star Trek and that universe. And here I am looking at 7 years maybe before I can even run a campaign. I might be able to do some smaller campaigns or some one-shots using these rules in between, but to run a full-fledged campaign, that's what I'm really excited to do. And I can't wait. I cannot wait to be able to experience this and take my friends through a very important franchise, specifically the Phantasy Star Online. And I really want to play this game. I'm so excited that I got the PDFs. I cannot wait to actually get the book, and I want to start diving into it and learning the rules. If you couldn't tell, I am excited. So excited that I had to message all of my friends about it and let them know, hey, I got the PDFs. They know I've been waiting for this. I've been talking about it, giving them updates, because that's the kind of level of excitement that I have here. And then I go into Libby's office to just smile, and she looks at me and she's like, "You're happy, aren't you?" And I'm like, mm-hmm. And so then she just in her seat, she just extends her arms out like, all right, come on, let me give you a hug and share in this excitement. And instead, I offer for her to get off of her chair. And then I grab her and I start doing this dancing hug with her because I'm just that excited. And then I picked her up and I spun her around one time. I am thrilled. I'm excited. I'm happy. I am delighted. I cannot wait. And I am sharing this excitement with these people who know that I'm excited. They are supportive of me in these endeavors, and they can't wait as well. Well, actually, I think they can wait because of all these other campaigns that they're wanting to go through as well. But they know I'm excited, and they're just sharing in this sheer joy that I have. And I'm not the only one who has done this. Ben is getting really, nervous and excited at the same time for Storm King's Thunder. He has shared some details with me. Not a whole lot, because he still wants to keep things a mystery, and he doesn't want me to metagame, though I'm not one of those who metagames and tries to use outside knowledge of the campaign in order to influence my decisions. And yet, we have also been spending so much time painting minis so that he can have, for this very first campaign, there's like 60 goblins that he needs to have. That is a lot of minis to be printed and painted. And he comes over and he has been sharing with us one of his all-time favorite anime, and that's Bleach. He has always wanted to have others who would be interested in watching this anime. And it's a bit of a tough one to get into because it's huge. I don't even know how many years this has been going on. And Ben is actually kind of going through and picking out, say, episodes or even seasons or arcs that aren't even a part of like the manga, that are just filler. And we're skipping a lot of these filler episodes. In fact, I want to say they're still creating and releasing episodes for this series. And so it's a lot to get into for many people. And he just really hasn't found anyone who has been interested in sharing in this excitement, in this thing that he takes delight in. And that's something that I have been able to join in him with, and same with Libby. Before we were doing all these mini paintings, there would be some Saturdays that he would come over and we would specifically sit down to watch Bleach together. And we'd watch 4 or 5 episodes. In the beginning, we would sit down and watch like 8 episodes at a time, because if you hear Ben tell the tale, he was really trying hard to make sure that we would get invested and love the story so that we could continue watching it. And I honestly don't think there was much of a concern in that. But, he wanted to make sure that we had a good experience with it. And now we are, instead of getting together Tuesday nights in order to play games like we have been for, this has been going on since like 2023 when Libby had her mental health break, that on Mondays we play games online with John and Dan, and then on Tuesdays we were playing games online with Ben. And now that's just kind of turned into more me and Ben playing games together, and Libby's just kind of around for the shenanigans as they come up. Instead of doing these play sessions where we're currently playing through It Takes Two, and it cracks me up. We got to, in Ben's mind, and I'm very much in agreement, we got to the best part of the game, because it plays like a dungeon crawling role-playing adventure game. We just got to the best part of the game, and we haven't picked it up since. Why? Because we finished, or we were getting very close to finishing, Tyranny of Dragons. We have since finished it, and now Ben is in almost panic mode in order to get ready for the very first session of Storm King's Thunder, and he wants to utilize minis. So we have been helping him with this army of minis. So instead of him coming over and playing games on Tuesdays, he's been coming over, bringing his laptop, bringing miniatures that he's printed. We have been spending somewhere between 2.5, maybe 3 hours watching Bleach and just painting minis. And that has been fun. I do look forward to getting back into playing games with Ben, because there are games that I want other people to play with me, but I don't have a whole lot of people willing to play these games. I've tried to get Libby to play games like Diablo 2, Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 1 and 2, Champions and Norath. A lot of these games that I really do enjoy, and they're just not her style. Well, Ben happens to be one of those people that he will play these games with me. So we are mutually sharing in these things that excite us. And I have been trying to take more of an interest in the sports that Ben and Brandon like to watch. In fact, at the time of this recording, I have heard from both Ben and Brandon how the Mariners have made it to postseason games, and they didn't even get one of the wild card seeds. They're like completely in it. And so some plans changed this weekend, because originally we were going to get together on Saturday to play Storm King's Thunder, and then it was just going to be a normal Sunday. Well, Brandon got tickets to the first postseason game for the Mariners in Seattle. He, his wife Katie, and his brother-in-law Ben, they are all going to go to see the Mariners, which means we are going to have to be a little more prompt with getting out on time on Saturdays, because they're going to have a drive to Seattle. And they're excited about it. Oh my goodness, are they excited about it. I cannot even begin to express the level of excitement that I have seen when I have been running our friends through the Tyranny of Dragons campaign, and I look over at where Brandon is sitting, and he has a Mariners game pulled up on his laptop and is split attention between what's going on in game and watching what's going on with the Mariners or following the scores. We just love to share these things that excite us. And why? Because it's fun, and we can find other people who can show a lot of these similar interests, and we can start to build that community up further. Again, I would not have the friends that I have if I did not get out of my comfort zone a little bit and agree to learn about this Dungeons and Dragons game. And now I've got these awesome friends that I get together with on a very regular basis, and we just do life together. That's awesome, because I chose to share in an interest that was outside, well, tangentially outside of what I would normally do. I have always played these kind of fantasy adventure video games. Never really done it to this level with Dungeons and Dragons. And I don't know why it took me so long. I really don't understand why it took me so long. And my community and my friendships have just expanded and grown because of that. I have had new experiences by trying out some different video games, even by just listening to what some of my other friends are playing. Our friends John and Dan introduced us to the game Satisfactory. Game I never ever would have picked up, because I'm like, you're building a factory. Big whoop. Why would I want to do that? Turns out it's a lot more involved than that. And we spent, oh gosh, I don't even know how long it was now, but we spent a long time playing that game, and then we took a break from it because the 1.0 version was going to come out and things were going to change. And we'll probably end up getting back into it, the four of us, playing and building these factories and taming the wildlife and just accomplishing the objectives that we have. Our friend John has a game that he loves to play. In fact, I would say It is probably his favorite game, and this is considering he has a game that he is working on and wants to eventually get out there. And I hear him talk more about this game of 10 Candles than I've heard him talk about anything else. Well, I guess outside of work. But in terms of the things that like really he just comes alive while he's talking about it, it's 10 Candles. Joking about 10 Candles. When are we going to play the next one? Because it's a very spooky game. And so it fits in very well with the season that had, at the time this comes out, it's going to be past, but this is the end of September. And we're in a week and a half. It's like a week and a half. We are going to be getting together to play 10 Candles. And John is so excited. I know he talks about it all the time. It is, for me anyways, and maybe this is a part of me being an empath, or maybe it's just a part of me being human. I don't know. It is really hard for me to not get excited about what other people are getting excited about. I love to see them smile. I love to see their moods pick up. I love to see their eyes just light up as they're talking about it, and someone else is showing interest in what they are wanting to talk about and what they're wanting to share. And that's why I find this to be so important. Not just because I get to gush right now about something that I am really excited about. And hopefully that energy is really coming through here and you are able to, I don't know, maybe even over the radio waves or the internet, just be able to experience and share in this excitement with me. Even if you're like, oh gosh, man, Marcus, some of these words I don't even know what you're even talking about. And that's okay. You have your own things that you get excited about. And I imagine that when you have an opportunity to share what these activities are or items, maybe, I guess, not just items, but like possessions, maybe having people meet someone new in your family or in your life. These are all things that can bring not just excitement, but also nervousness. But when they are accepted, what we end up receiving, honestly, to me, is a lot more than what we end up giving. When we are able to share these desires, these possessions, these people that we are just inherently excited about, and they are accepted and valued, and people join us in that excitement. I know Libby was probably like, geez, Marcus, why are you just flailing me around? But in the end, she had a big smile on her face and just gave me a kiss and was like, you are so happy right now. And I guess one of the things that is so telling about this right now, and this might even be one of those things that can make it a little challenging, because of where society is today, it might even be difficult to try and find excitement in anything these days. I know earlier this week, gosh, no, this is Tuesday. This was just yesterday. I was listening to some of my podcasts, and then after a while it's like, okay, I need to be done, and I need to do something else because I am just so overwhelmed by all of the bullshit that is just taking place. And I moved on to doing something different. Listening to some music, working on a guided journal and sorting through magic cards that I bought on a whim from a friend of mine who was getting rid of them because magic is one of the things that Ben is really into, and it's like, well, I can at least have some of these cards myself, and he can kind of teach me how to play. Still hasn't happened yet, mostly because of time. And to me, having something that I can just be excited about and brings me joy, especially this being around a season of joy, a time that is supposed to be full of joy and delight and the Christmas spirit, whatever. And you can tell how excited I am. Granted, it is just October for me as I'm recording this. But when there's so much in the world that just seems to want to bring us down and take away our joy, I find it so important for us to not let that happen to the best that we are able. Yes, there are a lot of people going through horrible times right now with occupations in different cities, with attacks being made against them. And there are still ways that we can find joy, even if it's just a little bit. Just a little bit. And I had an experience today that brought me a lot of joy. And here I am sharing about it. I want to share this excitement. I want to share this joy. And I hope you got at least a little bit of that. Just a little bit. And I wonder, what is it in your life that you find so much joy and excitement from? If you're like me, when I was in school, it was a little easy for me to come up with things that excited me. But then as I got older, and especially as I started working, and I found myself coping more instead of just living, if I found myself just coping instead of actually living life, then it can be a little hard to find that joy and find that excitement in your day-to-day. If you happen to be someone who is working multiple jobs just to make ends meet, it can be really hard to find that joy because your energy is drained from so many different sources. If you have pets or children or significant other, it's even more stretched. If you have community obligations, like say you have kids and they're involved in sports, then that's going to be even more of a drain. It is in those times when I believe it is so important for us to find just those little slivers of joy and excitement and share them. There's that, I probably gonna totally botch this saying, but I remember hearing a lot growing up that our burdens are halved when they're shared with others and our joys are doubled. And for me personally, I think that's true. When I talk with people about something that is burdening me, I definitely feel when I have others walking with me and helping me carry that burden, it is so much lighter. And when I share in these things that I find incredible joy and I'm just excited about, then I often find that I end up experiencing even more joy and more excitement when others sharing it with me. I encourage you to find those things that are joyous to you, whatever they are. Find that joy. Find something that you can be excited about. And maybe this is even just my white male privilege coming through here. And if so, I would absolutely love to hear from any of you on some pushback on this, because I still want to grow in this area. I still want to know when this is my privilege coming through. But finding that excitement and sharing it is so important in my life. And I hope it's something that you're able to do as well. I implore you. Find that excitement. Find that joy in whatever it happens to be. And find some time to actually enjoy that excitement and that joy to the best that you are able. If you have any questions about this or anything else that I've talked about, feel free to reach out to me. You can email me at questions.btcpod@gmail.com. You can find that email in the description. You can also get in touch with me on Blue Sky. I need to check the settings, but I believe you can even just send me direct messages through there. I am happy to answer any questions, interact with you however I can. If you're on YouTube, then leave a comment, and I'm happy to engage with you there. Please like and subscribe to this on YouTube. If you're listening to this on iTunes or Spotify or whatever your favorite podcasting app is, then please give this podcast a rating and a review. And if you have any suggestions of people that we can study or interview for future hero studies, I'm totally open to that. I'm putting out some feelers to get some more interviews, and I only have my circle of people, and thankfully it is expanding. And if you happen to have someone in your life or someone you know who would be interested and we can expand this circle, I would love that. We need to have more heroes in our lives today. Hang in there. I hope you have an awesome week, an awesome weekend, and I'm looking forward to talking with you again next week. And until then, live strong for today.